Hey there, welcome back to part 2 where I add a little fun stuff onto the flower that I did in part 1. And I will link that above right now where you can see it and click on it if you want to watch how we do the flower. Now something that I'm getting together here is in this palette I have put a little bit of alcohol with some ink, and I've taken a stylus with the little balls on the end. They're really cool, you ought to get some. And just started making the dots there, and I've realized they're not as dark as I want them. I want them pretty dark like the stem is right now on that first row. And then I want to get lighter after that. So I'm going to add some more ink to it. Get a little bit darker. I don't want it straight ink, but I wanted a lot of ink. So I've just added a little more ink to the palette, and I'm going to make these dots. Now what you want to do on the dots is not make them really close to each other while they're still wet, because they will blend and just become a blob. So skip your spaces, and then you can come back once those are dry and put the dots in between them to look like a row of dots, and you won't have them just looking like a line of dots. So that's what I'm doing here, is trying to get it dry and then going in and adding the ones in between. Now depending on the size ball on the end of your stylus depends on the size that the dot makes, and also depending on how long you hold it in the ink, if you just dab it versus putting it all the way in where the ink collects all around the little ball in the end. So that's going to take some practice and some figuring out what you like and your different little techniques with it. Now in this little container I have straight alcohol, but apparently I wanted a little color to it, so I'm adding color. So this is the alcohol and ink, but it's not as concentrated as the first batches. This is going to be a little bit lighter than the first row of dots. Also, depending on how long you hold your stylus to the paper, if you just dab it or if you hold it for a second, the longer you hold it, the more alcohol and ink or it's going to go onto your paper. So that's another thing. They're just a little learning curve on these things, but they're really fun and add a lot of fun effects to your paintings. And something good you can keep and collect to put alcohol or mix the ink and alcohol together is like caps to your waters or things like that that you can collect and use those as little bitty palettes if you don't have a palette. But those are really neat, and then you can toss them, but remember you can also reactivate that ink when you add alcohol to it. So I kind of keep a palette all the time with dried ink in it, because you can always reactivate it. It's just a new way to, kind of not waste your materials and get the best and most out of them. Now it looks like here I'm going into more of the clear alcohol, and be sure to clean your stylus off or you'll have a different color in there. I'm using a smaller one, and I'm wanting smaller little dots to go in here. Also, something fun to do is you can add color to your little dots. So at the very end, I've got a picture where I've put a row of pink ones in there, and it made it kind of fun. So I'm going to put that at the very end of the video. But for the most part, all this is blue. I have, excuse me, I have sped this up just a little bit, so I don't really work this fast, but I didn't think you wanted to sit here and watch me put a bunch of dots on this picture. But it is sped up just a little bit, but you can still tell the technique and a little bit about the way that I went about doing this. And there I have picked out a marker that matches the lightest or almost the lightest color of the blue petals. And I'm just making some little fun somethings. I'm not sure what that is. So I'm just adding a little something down there in a lot of that negative space to take that up. And just make it fun. And there I went with the medium color. Now I did put these up into the petals, but I did not go over the dark ones. I wanted it to look like it was coming out from behind the darker petals. So I have started at the corner where the dark petals are and made it look like it was behind them. I want those dark petals to be up front.